Hello there, space people. This is Today in Space. I am Alex Rafanos, and we're outside, actually enjoying the really nice weather, trying to keep morale up, trying to do our best. And one of the things that I want to talk about, I just want to share some thoughts this episode. Nice quick one. We'll have a few this week. But one of the things that's popped around, we're all stuck inside, we're all doing our pandemic lockdown, and there's been a lot of comparisons to what astronauts go through when they self-isolate, whether they're on the International Space Station or what would happen if we went on a trip to Mars. Now, right now, basically the trip to Mars is about a 9-month trip. And I think a lot of us, after just, maybe a month of lockdown, I think a lot of us would say absolutely not, no to that. And I get it. I think for whatever reason, I'm actually more confident in the fact that I would be okay for a Mars trip and going into space than I originally thought I would. I think I've been dealing with this a little bit better than most. I think partly it's because, whether you believe it or not, I'm actually kind of an introvert. So this has kind of been normal. And I think I've talked about it before. This is kind of what I've been shooting for a really long time, which is being able to work from home and do my things. Now, I'm very lucky. I have a job that I can still do from home. So I've been doing that. But man, things that I was not expecting for, days blending into other days, and really just trying to make sure that I really put down my daily schedule, my routine, and get that re-ingrained for whatever new normal, we talked about this before, that we're in. Now, to keep this space related, I want to talk about the 9-month trip to Mars and how this really compares. So I've got some notes. I'm going to share some thoughts. So I think, first off, a 9-month trip to Mars would be way more planned out than what this lockdown has been. I think we would already have a whole bunch of things that would have been pre-scheduled. You would have known what your day would have looked like. Like on the International Space Station, they have pretty much their whole time, from what I've learned, planned out. They even have blocks of time that may not be a specific thing, but it might be, hey, this is your time for soft skill stuff. This is your time to listen to some music. This is your time to run an experiment on the International Space Station. This is your block to get ready for your spacewalk that's coming up. So a lot of this stuff, comparisons to space, there is so much planning that goes in way ahead of time, so that while they're up by themselves in self-isolation, all they have to do is get to task and make the most of what they have of their time in space. Now, I think the more true comparison would be this weird scenario, this alternate universe where we did have some cataclysmic asteroid impact that we did have to just shove literally everybody onto a spaceship and go into space. I think that would be a way more accurate representation of what life would be if we went into space without a plan. I think people would get stir crazy very quickly. I think some people would rise to the occasion and try and say, okay, what can I do to help? How can I be of service here? And then I think a lot of other people would just be bored out of their f***ing minds. And so, as much as I love the idea of, space is for everybody, if you're open to it, space is for you. But if this lockdown has not been for you, and you're a complete extrovert and you just can't be in one place for that long, it may not be for you. So, now, granted, I doubt we would have a scenario where we would not see a cataclysmic asteroid impact coming, and we had literally enough time to build a rocket ship and leave Earth. But at the same time, I don't think we would have a rocket ship or a spaceship that would be big enough to put enough people on board. I don't think that's literally even possible. So, yeah, there's that. Now, the other thing that's really important to compare this 9-month trip to Mars and our month, and could be 2 months, could be 3 months, who knows. The biggest comparison here that I think is a major driver of why it's thrown people so off is expectations for everything, right? When this pandemic lockdown was being implemented, it was just being thrown together. I would not, you guys have been paying attention, probably, right? I don't think this was planned, or that anyone was even remotely close to understanding how much of an impact this was going to have on everything, the economy, on our lives, on our relationships. Nobody had any idea. Never mind how our governed leaders were going to deal with this. I don't think they have any idea either. And so that's why the date keeps moving, and that sucks. A moving target, a moving date of what your end is, sucks. Can't say that enough. It sucks. And you can't really prepare for something like this. Who would have known how bad this was? It's so unknown that even the people who are experts, the doctors, the healthcare physicians, the biologists, they don't even know yet. And this past week, I did happen to come across a presentation by people on the front lines who are doing the science behind this, and all they have right now are a hypotheses. That's it. That's all we can work off right now until we get to the point where we start understanding this more. And like as we discussed last episode, it takes time, right? So I think that's a huge thing, and I think going off of expectations being so important, I think the people that right away or as soon as they could came to the decision that, hey, we're going to be locked up for a while. This is how it's going to be. I think they are the ones that have dealt with it the most, and maybe that's why I've been dealing with it a little bit better, is because I put it in my head my worst case scenario of this could be a month, 2 months, so let's prepare for that. Worst case, it is better than that, right? Now, thinking about a 9-month trip to Mars, now that it really is, and thinking about how long 9 months is now with just a month in quarantine inside, it's given me a whole new perspective on what that kind of a trip would be. I mean, honestly, just sitting outside, right? There's birds chirping, dogs barking. I didn't experience that for 2 weeks because I was inside virtually the whole time. And so that has a major effect. And I can't even imagine what 9 months would do just to get to Mars, never mind the amount of time you would spend in that colony while you're there, and then the other 9-month trip to get back. Because remember, that's 9 months to get there. So I think you would need to know yourself extremely well. I think if you're going to go to Mars, you need to know yourself so well that you're going to be able to plan for your inaccuracies, the places where you're not good at something. And for me, the thing that I think I would need to have that would be essential would be something new to learn. So for me, I'm starting to do that right now. I still have to get it out, but I'm going to start playing trumpet again and working on that again. I stopped. One of the first things that I did was being a musician and be a trumpet player. I was in jazz bands. I was in marching bands, ensembles and stuff, and played a lot. That was my life. And then I decided to go the other side of my brain, which was science, because I had the opportunity. Part of what kept me from going back is I had an injury. So I'm in the process of developing myself and basically starting from complete scratch, like I've never played it before. And that, to me, gives me something to look forward to and something to challenge myself through the monotony, right? If I have a schedule for 9 months, I want to be able to have something that I can judge my progress, to give myself something of the concept of time, because as we've all realized with this lockdown, everything seems to blend together, right? Everything seems to just become the same thing, and you need to be the person that, or if you're lucky, you have someone else that does this for you, just like the astronauts that go on these trips. You need to be the person that says, this is what I'm doing today. I'm stopping work at 5:30, and at 5:30, I'm going to start something completely different and completely new that I look forward to in that day. And these are the little things that I think are super important. So I would need to have something new that would be essential, something brand new I've never done before that I could work on and get better at through my trip. That's what I would consider essential. And I pose the question to you: what would you need? What would be essential? Could you not go without on a trip to Mars for 9 months? Given your pandemic lockdown experience, what have you seen about yourself that you would really need? What has really, really helped that you would need? It could be something as simple as, hey, I need a good playlist for music. Maybe, and I've seen this before in movies like Interstellar, sounds of nature, right? Just having something there so that we can keep track of what life is like on the outside. And so, yeah, so I'm asking you, what do you think is essential for a 9-month trip to Mars? Let me know. Hit me up in the comments below. And thank you for listening. These are just some thoughts from an engineer sitting here in lockdown. We've got a little while to go, the rest of April. So I'm gonna try and do multiple episodes. We're gonna be talking to more people. Last week's episode was great with Mick from the scenesnobs.com. We went over we went over his top 5 science movies, sci-fi movies, and space movies. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. We also talked about the new series Picard that just ended for Star Trek. So, of course, spoiler alert, but go check that out. And as always, check us out on Facebook at Today in Space Podcast, on Instagram at Today in Space Pod, and Twitter as well. And you can also check our TikTok at Today in Space. And if you haven't already, you can see how we're using science to solve everyday problems. Of course, right now, our problems are PPE and coronavirus and making sure that people that are on the front lines have what they need: masks, face shields. I've done my research. You can see what we're doing on our Instagram page at AG3D Printing. We're using 3D printing to make this stuff, and we're going to be donating it to our local community so that they have something, because we've still got another month and they need protection. Because if we can just minimize how many people get this, then we will be much better out, and we'll give ourselves the time we need to do the research, find the science, to create some kind of a vaccine that will help. But that's it. Check that out, AG3D Printing on Instagram and our YouTube page too. You can check our videos. We're doing weekly collages of all the things that we've done for that week, so you can see our progress throughout time. And that's it. That's it, folks. I hope you're well. Be good. Find your rhythm. Give yourself something to look forward to in your day so it doesn't get monotonous. That's it. Be good. We'll see you later this week. Spread love, spread science.